Hey everyone, welcome back to our introductory series on using Shoutem. So let's say you've added all of your content and you've got your app looking the way you want it to look. The next step is to actually publish your app to the App Store and to the Play Store. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the information you need to provide in order to start that publication process. So let's jump right in. Okay, so we're back to the intro news app we were working on in the last video. I've added some screens and additional content to the app, and overall it's ready to be published. Before doing so, we need to provide some additional information. Let's click on the settings option on the left. And then, if you're not already there, click on the app info button. If you have not already done so, in the top, you will need to update your app name first, which you can do right here. Under that, you will have a few image options for your app. The first is the launch screen, which is the initial screen the user is going to see while they enter your app. The next two are the app icons, one for iOS and one for Android. For all these options right now, I'm just using the default screens provided, but you will want to update them to something specific to your app. Underneath that, you have some additional advanced information just in case you ever need it. Next, let's click on Store Metadata over here on the left. And as you can see, we have an option for iPhone and Android. And at the top, underneath each of these tabs, you're going to find information which is basically going to be displayed to the user whenever they browse for your app on the App Store or the Play Store. So let's be careful what information we put in here because it's basically SEO for your app stores. You've got an option for title, subtitle, description, any keywords related to your app so that it could be helpful for search. And you also need to provide a support URL and a privacy policy URL. Underneath that, we've got options for the screenshots which will be displayed in the App Store. You've got a couple of different options. You can just take screenshots directly from the preview tool and use those as the screenshots to display in the App Store. Or better yet, you could actually design the screens using snippets from the app that include some information on top of those snippets. So for example, if your app sends push notifications, maybe you could specify the push notifications that will be sent, or if it showcases some events, maybe you have an example of the events. Just remember that people are very visual and are more likely to look at your screenshots before reading your actual app description. But here's where you'll be setting those screenshots, and you've got a couple different options. You've got options for a 6.5-inch display and also a 5.5-inch display. Underneath that is where you'll need to provide your iOS developer account. So if you haven't already signed up for one, go ahead and sign up for one. The approval process can take a few days, especially on the iOS side. You will also need to sign up for an organizational Apple developer account. There are two different types, individual and organizational. If you attempt to use an individual, a lot of times your app will be rejected. It's like a 99% chance. So we recommend signing up for an organizational Apple account and then providing that information here. You will also need to invite Shoutem to your Apple account. I will link this article in the description, but it provides details on how to invite Shoutem to your account to give them permission to publish the app. So I won't necessarily review all this right now, but I'll go ahead and provide that in the description. The next section allows you to specify the application price if there is a price associated with it. And then also you can set your country. That's where you'll be able to set that. And then underneath that, you've got some contact information. So you will need to provide contact information for your app. And then the rest of this, the options underneath the store metadata, really relate to what type of app you are about to publish. So the category of the app, and then you can provide a secondary category. And then underneath that, you've got basically some ratings and restrictions which you'll need to provide if your app falls into any of these categories. Okay, so once you're done with the iPhone side, go ahead and click on the Android tab up at the top, and you'll need to provide the same information again. It's very similar. Title, short description, support URL, and privacy URL should be about the same as what you provided on the iPhone side. And then you've got some additional artwork information. If you'd like to know how this artwork is used, just hover over the tooltip. And then you've got the screenshots, which you'll need to provide similar to the iOS side. They'll be a slightly different size, but you'll want to use the same artwork. And then if you scroll down, this is basically the same application information that you provided on the iOS side, you'll need to provide again. And similar to the iOS account that you need to provide, developer account, you need to provide a Google Play Android developer account. If you haven't already signed up for one, go ahead and sign up for one now. The approval process is significantly faster though, and you'll need to invite Shoutem to your developer account, similar to the iOS side, which you can find more information in the same support article, which I'll link in the description. Once you're done filling out your information, go ahead and click on the Publish button in the top right. If you don't already have a Shoutem subscription, you'll be prompted to sign up for one. You've got a couple different options here. Go ahead and pick whichever one is appropriate to continue with the subscription process. And once that has been completed, you can continue with the publish process. The next step will be your app being sent to the Shoutem publishing team for an in-depth review. We'll make sure you've added all the necessary information and that your app has all the necessary content. If everything is okay and the publishing team doesn't have any feedback, we will submit the app for you to the Google and Apple stores. It will take approximately 1 to 3 business days for Apple to review and approve everything, and up to 5 working days to review and approve the app on the Play Store. After that, you'll get a direct link to your app in order to share and promote. So I think that is about it. So for a quick recap, what you need to do is make sure that you've got all of your content, all of your screens added to your app. Make sure that it looks the way you want it to look. Make sure that you've named your app appropriately, either up top here or underneath settings, app info. Make sure to add the launch screen and app icons underneath app info. Underneath store metadata, make sure to add the information related to your app, screenshots, support URL, privacy policy URL, and most important of all, make sure to add your developer account information for iOS and or Android, and then make sure Shoutem is invited to those accounts using the step-by-step tutorial underneath this support article, which I'll link in the description. And then I think that is about it. If you do have any questions, please reach out to the Shoutem support team. We're more than happy to help with the publish process or any other questions you might have. I think that's about it. Thank you very much and happy building.